Today we're pushing AI animation to the limit. I've chosen one of my nomadic architectural capsules, a walking structure in a snowy landscape, and we'll test how 5 of the most powerful AI models handle it: Sora, Kling, Runway, Pika Labs, and Midjourney. The goal? Get this capsule to walk while the camera follows it. We'll be using 2 prompts for each model. One is a simplified version I created, and the other is a more elaborate prompt written with the help of ChatGPT. Let's see how each tool interprets motion, depth, and design, and which one actually gets the legs moving. Okay, so we're going to be starting off with Pika. Now in Pika, we're going to be wanting to go into Pika Frames, and one thing to notice before we start is that we start off with 700 points. Now these 700 credits are given when you pay the $10 per month subscription. So it's not bad. However, you still have the watermark, even though you're paying the $10 per month, which it's a bummer. If we wanted to get rid of that watermark, we actually need to go into the Pro plan that goes all the way to $28 per month. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, in order to upload our nomadic capsule, I'm going to go into Pika Frames here. So let's just click once and I'll be hitting the add frame. But as you can see, we also have the loop option. And furthermore, we can add multiple frames. So I suppose if we add 2 frames in here, it's going to make an animation from the first frame to the second frame that will have a length of 5 seconds. But let's just start off with our image. Alright, so I have uploaded our capsule and we're going to be making sure that down here we have the latest version, which is Pika 2.2. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in nomadic architectural capsule walking with its robotic legs while camera follows it. I'm also going to be adding slow because I don't want fast animations or fast actions from our capsule. Basically, I don't want it to go crazy, so that's gonna be slow, and also in order might help. Let's see what we get. So it says please add a second frame or enable loop. So let's just go ahead and activate the loop option. Alright, so we got the animation now. However, let's see how it goes. It's jumping around and one of the legs got lost actually. So this one just disappeared apparently. Okay, so it's kicking and jumping and one leg is missing. So first try wasn't that good. It's also distorting a lot on the top. As you can see, it's not really maintaining the overall geometry and the camera is not even moving. So for the second try, as we mentioned at the beginning, we're going to be asking ChatGPT to create a prompt for Pika. So let's jump there. So it says, I'm looking to create an animation using Pika Labs. So I'm actually referring to Pika Labs because each AI model will probably need a different kind of prompt. Okay, so for this nomadic architectural capsule, the image is attached. The animation must show the robotic legs walking naturally and in order while the camera follows it. I'm also going to be adding that I don't want the capsule to change shape. And I'm going to attach our image. Okay, awesome. So the objective is pretty clear. Animate the robotic legs of the capsule walking naturally through a snow environment. This structure, the capsule body, must remain unchanged. That's excellent. And the camera should track the movement smoothly as if it's walking beside or slightly behind the unit. That's amazing. So here's the prompt. It's great. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it, jump into Pika, and paste it right here. Okay, so this is what we got from our prompt using ChatGPT, and it's not looking good at all, is it? So I guess that Pika, it's actually limited because it only works with 2 or more frames. Instead, we had to use the loop animation system, which is not really working for us at all. So we can say that Pika, it's not going to probably give us a good result when we are only working with a single image. Now let's go ahead and try Sora. Now one thing to keep in mind is that I do have the ChatGPT membership, which allows me also to access Sora. As you may know, ChatGPT costs around 25 US. And let's change this to video and let's add our capsule. Okay, so we've got it right here, and what I'm going to do is just to copy the same prompt that I used for Pika, which is going to be my own. So copy and paste it. Now let's create the video. I'm only using the 480p resolution, which is the fastest one, so that we don't drag this video more than it should, and I'm also only using the duration, which is 5 seconds. And while we wait for it, I'm actually going to go back into ChatGPT. Now I'll tell it to create a prompt based on the same parameters, but this time for Sora. We can also see that the prompt is much more detailed. So we're going to be using this in a second. Let's go back and see if our animation is done. All right, and here we go. So, wow. This is not at all what we're looking for because obviously my prompt, it's a bit simple. So let's try it out with a more detailed prompt. So again, let's upload our picture. And also another thing that we can keep in mind is that it's actually cropping our image a little bit. On the other hand, Pika didn't crop it. So that's another thing to keep in mind because obviously I want the whole image to be captured and I cannot really change the aspect ratio. Maybe if I go to 9:16 or 1:1, yeah, it's still cropping on all of the aspect ratio. So let's leave it at 2:3 and hit create video. Okay, and here we go. It's much more consistent, it's much better. So I guess for Sora, we do need a very detailed prompt. So the camera here, it's actually moving in a subtle way, slowly, naturally, and we cannot see in any of these any walking actions. However, between these two, I think I would go with this one. It has a pretty cool perspective, as you can see. It's much better than Pika. Now, let's jump into Midjourney now. In order to animate here in Midjourney, we need to go into Add Images and make sure that you are on the starting frame. In here, just go ahead and upload your image. And once uploaded, just click on it. Now again, I'll be using my super prompt. So I'm going to go back to Pika, copy it, and paste it right here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that on settings, we actually have two parameters, which is motion low and motion high. Now, for architectural purposes and for this type of movement, I'll go with low. I don't want a dynamic, fast-going camera movement, so that's why I'm sticking with low. So this is awesome. Midjourney is actually going to be giving us 4 different results and it's quite fast. I think it's a little bit faster than Pika and Sora so far. By the way, in Midjourney, you can actually get animations starting from only $10 per month. However, if you're into creating lots of animations, that membership is not really going to be that good for you. You will probably need a $30 subscription. And again, while we wait for this to load, I'm going to head over to ChatGPT now. Okay, awesome. So one thing that I've been reading about this, it actually gives us better results when we give it a more detailed prompt. So let's put that to the test. Okay, this is awesome. So before we paste this, I'm going to go back to Midjourney and see how we're doing now. So I'm going to just click on here. Wow, this is a big difference from Pika and Sora. It's actually maintaining our model intact. It makes total sense that this would look like this. But no walking, no robotic legs walking. So that's a bummer. Let's try again, but with the more detailed prompt now. Quick note, if you want to use the exact image shown, the prompt I created to generate these nomad capsules, and even a Midjourney guide I wrote to help you get the most out of your prompts, you'll find all of that on my Patreon. It's linked below. Alright, so here we go. Now, another thing that we can try while we are at it is to change the low motion to high. Maybe that would work. But first, let's see what happens. Alright, and here we go. Let's start with the first one. Okay, camera movement is looking very smooth. And the 3D model, it's looking great too. Let's go on to the next one. No legs moving at all. Alright, once again. And the last one. So we only have camera movements, no leg movement at all. I'm going to try my own prompt again, but this time I'm going to be using the motion high setting. So let's send it and see what happens. All right, I'm expecting something crazy now, so let's see what we have. Our design, our concept design is looking incredibly well. This is what really amazes me the most. Now this one, all right, and no robot legs moving. All right, so not bad at all. But still no natural movement on the legs. Let's jump into Runway now. Okay, so Runway costs $15 US per month for the standard version. Anyway, without further ado, let's just select the image. So I'm just going to be placing it right here. So I'll be pasting my super prompt. Let's also check out what gen we're using. All right, so this is the most consistent video model. This is the fastest one, so let's stick to gen 4. And I'm going to only be leaving this at 5 seconds, which is great. Another thing that I can notice is that Runway before was cropping my images, and right now I don't see any cropping. Maybe it's specifically for the image I'm using, but that's a good sign. Let's click on generate now. And while we're waiting for it, I'm going to jump into ChatGPT and ask a prompt, but this time for Runway. So this is a bit outdated. As you can see, it says Gen 2. I don't think there's going to be much difference. So let's just copy this prompt and go back to Runway. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we get. Finally, we get some movement from our robotic legs. This is great. So let's go ahead and reuse the settings. But instead of having my super prompt, I'm going to use ChatGPT's. So let's go back here, and again, finally we have some robotic legs movement, but still no walking. That would be awesome to have, but it's something. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we have. So this is much better. We can see the robotic legs moving and the camera is following it. So points for Runway. Now that we finally have a model that is actually following our prompt, we can start refining it. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and maybe explain it that there's now a Gen 4 and explain it what we just saw and what we need to fix. Alright, so here we go. We're going to be using this updated prompt. Let's go back to Runway and let's just replace it. Okay, unfortunately, we didn't get what we wanted. And maybe it's because we have to refine the prompt a little bit. In some cases, I think a simple prompt will work more than a detailed prompt. So one more time, I'm quite excited what we got so far from Runway. So that is why I want to actually keep on pushing it a little bit further. So as you can see, my simple prompt, it's actually working a bit better in terms of natural movements than these two. So let's just tell ChatGPT to simplify the prompt and concentrate on what I'm asking. Here we go. Let's copy it back to Runway and paste it. So one more time with Runway and then we'll jump into Kling. All right, so here we go. This is our final result for Runway. It seems like it's dancing. These two legs seem like they're break dancing or something, but at least we got our robotic legs moving kind of naturally, almost there. I think Runway, it's gonna be able to do it. We just need to keep refining the prompt a little bit. But that's gonna take us way more credits. As you can see, I'm already down to 385 credits and I've only produced 4 different iterations. So in that sense, I think Midjourney is a bit more efficient and cheaper. However, we almost got what we were looking for. Now in Kling, we have to go into Create, and in here, I'm going to go into Video, Kling 2.1, and as you can see, we have many video generation. So we have Kling 1.6, Kling 2.0 Master, Kling 2.1 Master, and Kling 2.1. So we have many video generations. I'm going to go ahead and use the Kling 1.6, and then if we don't get what we want, I will probably go into the more expensive one, which is Kling 2.1 Master. It actually says superb dynamics and prompt adherence. We're gonna be seeing if that's true. So let's hit Kling 1.6 and upload our image. As always, we're going to be starting off with our personal prompt in here. So let's just go ahead and paste it. And Kling, out of all of them, I think it's the cheapest one. And one thing that I like about Kling is that you can actually just purchase a certain amount of credits for, let's say, $5, which is great. I really love that about Kling. So it's pretty cheap. It doesn't consume that many points or credits. As you can see, it only costs 35 in comparison with Runway, for example, that it cost me almost half of all my points just to generate 4 of these variations. So let's go back to Kling and click on generate and see what we get. So while we wait for our video to be generated, let's see the plans from Kling. So you can see that the monthly plans are only $8 per month, which is actually insane. We get 660 credits, and as you could see, we only consume 35 of them when creating an animation. Another thing that I should mention about Kling is that it gives you free points out of nowhere. For example, I only had like 300 points left, and yesterday, out of nowhere, I got 1000. So Kling, on budget-wise, I think it's the best one so far. Okay, and it's done. Let's see what we get now. Alright, so still nothing. So let's change the prompt a little bit. Robotic legs walking, camera follows. So this is a super simplified prompt. I'm going to try this once again. Okay, so this is great. This is the most realistic and natural robotic leg movement we've had so far. But again, let's see what happens with a highly detailed prompt. So we know the drill. Let's go back to ChatGPT and create another prompt. So here we go. Okay, this is good. and copy and paste this. And while we are at it, I'm going to use the same prompt that worked the best, which is this one. It has only 5 words to it. So I'm going to copy it and change the mode to Kling 2.1 Master. So this is going to cost me around 100 credits, but let's see what happens. And just for the sake of this video, I'm going to be copying this highly detailed prompt and also use it for the 2.1 Master. So we have 3 cooking. Let's see what we get. Okay, so let's start with Kling 1.6 result with the highly detailed prompt. And okay, almost got it. Maybe it would need a couple of more tries. All right, so here we go. We have Kling 2.1 Master with the simplified version of the prompt, a really simplified version. So let's click on play. All right, not so bad. We have camera movement, we have robotic legs moving, but it's actually changing our design a little bit. So far this has been, I think, one of the best ones. But now let's go ahead and see what we get with Kling 2.1 Master with a highly detailed prompt. Let's see what we get. All right, so I think we finally have a winner. It was actually our last attempt. So Kling 2.1 Master with a highly detailed prompt is actually doing everything that I wanted it to do, which is robotic legs walking, or our nomad capsule walking with camera following it. We finally got it. So after putting all 5 AI models to the test, Kling, Sora, Midjourney, Runway, and Pika Labs, what did you think? Which one handled the animation best in your opinion, and did any of them surprise you? You'll find the exact image we used, the prompt that generated it, and a complete Midjourney guide over on Patreon, in case you want to try your own version or explore this Nomad capsule workflow further. And if there's another tool you'd like me to include in the next AI showdown, let me know in the comments. I'm always looking to push these experiments further.